Welcome to HD Live, folks. Thank you for
Yep.
joining us. It is Dialogue.
It's your man Eddie Ed.
And today, before we get into the topic, hey, don't forget to comment, share, like the video. We really do want to hear your thoughts. Sometimes we can't get to your comments because we're working with a 30-minute timeline, strict timeline. So sometimes we don't get to the comments, but we do appreciate the comments anyways during the live. So drop them below, have a conversation, drop a comment afterward too. Let's have a conversation that way, because that's the way we can do it back and forth. Today, we got a really interesting thing for you guys. Last week, I was watching a YouTube video that actually made sense. A lot of these type of things, sometimes you're like, yeah, I get it. But this one actually made sense. And there's a biblical foundation for it making sense, which makes it make sense even more. The real reason why you're addicted to advice. And look, we all know advice is good. Counsel is good. The Bible encourages us to get counseling in anything that we do, especially counseling from the Lord, counseling from his word, counseling from the leaders in the church or whomever that understands the word of God. But today we're drowning in knowledge and starving for action. You know, we're living in some of the most educated era in human history. Like, a lot of people have graduated. A lot of people have been to college. A lot of people know a lot of stuff. And somehow the least prepared to actually do anything. And I've got a clip for you guys, okay? So this is Barry. I just came across his videos last week, and he makes some very interesting points, which will go down through this video. And at the end of this video, you'll have a really good understanding of the real reason why we're addicted to advice. It's almost as though we're being programmed to look for advice. But you'll understand very soon. Let's take a look at this clip.
Is that right now we are living through the most documented era of success advice in the history of the human race. Every morning, millions of people wake up, plug in their earbuds, and mainline interviews with the most successful people on the planet. CEOs of huge companies, Nobel Prize winning scientists, authors, billionaires. We've got plans, frameworks, morning routines, and actionable insights literally coming out of our ears.
What if I told you that the way you are chasing love and success is the exact reason why you don't have either of them?
And yet, statistically, we've never been less likely to achieve upward mobility. In fact, we're pretty much all less successful than our parents were.
And that was only a few decades ago that this happened. So, interesting point that he makes here, that you have millions of people, mainline experts and interviews every single morning just dropping into your feed, just like a bird feeder, just dropping in. And we're the most anxious, we're the most burnt out. Like, burnout is like becoming so popular. And we are amongst some of the less successful people when we look at how successful we are compared to where our parents were, or where the American parent was maybe in the 1960s, 70s. And I this actually reminded me of the Bible verse that King Solomon wrote about in Ecclesiastes. Let me share with you guys real quick, because this will set you up, and it will actually blow your mind, because there are a lot of people that say, well, the Bible is this old text. Yeah.
Stop playing.
Yeah, people are really playing with knowledge here, because think about it. We get a lot of knowledge from history, but for some reason, the Bible is not historical enough.
Yeah.
Check out this verse.
You know, everything is validated until the Bible speaks on something that you don't like. Then we can't really follow it no more. Get out of here. So when you steal something and and it says you're gonna get punished for that. Is that not true?
Is it not? Check this out. Ecclesiastes 9. I'm gonna start at 11 and go through 12. Oh, actually, I'm gonna start at 10 because 10 is where the theme switches a little bit. And to keep you guys informed, this theme, this long letter, this writing, it's generally talking about death comes to all. So at 9, verse 10, it starts, whatever your hands find to do, do it with your might. For there is no work or thought or knowledge or wisdom in Sheol, which is hell, to which you are going. Again, I saw that under the sun, the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, nor bread to the wise, nor riches to the intelligent, nor favor to those with knowledge, but time and chance happen to them all. For man does not know his time, like fish that were taken in an evil net, and like birds that are caught up in a snare, so the children of man are snared at an evil time when it suddenly falls upon them. Now, a lot of people think the Bible is this old thing. Again, when it says something like whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all of your might. You think about the times today, and we're studying life more than we're living it, which is crazy. What do you got, Eddie? Ed? What do you got? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, this is interesting. I mean, immediately before we even got to the video, a lot of things were coming to my mind, about how we have a lot of access to things that is overload and nothing gets done. Like, just even thinking about it in the most simplest form, like when you have a lot of time to yourself, a lot of times we waste it. Like let's say like there's a day you have off of work, right? And you're so used to moving that you have less time to come home and do whatever you usually want to come home and do. When you are, that's important. When you have a day off and you can do things that are important, we tend to waste time because we think we have so much time in the day that before we know it, it's already 6 p.m. You're like, dang, hold on. I just watched one movie and it's already over. Ate breakfast. Dang, whoa.
Yeah, right.
So like we have so much time. We think, we have so many hours in a day that we end up wasting them on things that we wanted, that we didn't really want to spend it on, and we have less time on things that we really wanted to focus on, but because we had so much time in the day more than usual, we just misused it. And so even just thinking about how like in these areas of our lives, on more on the serious note, this society has too much access to pornographic materials that now they don't want to date no more. Now they don't want to get married, or they have too much access to the buns, where they're going to these clubs, they ordering this or ordering escort, whatever. Like now they don't want to get married. They don't want the actual real thing that's beneficial for their lives, right? Too much motivation, right? You want this motivation, so you can work out and get this 6-pack and chest that you saw advertised on YouTube. You have to wake up 5 a.m. every morning because like those type of videos, and the music is like this theatrical type of motivation, but yet there's no consistency in the day-to-day. And I'm not claiming to be the perfect one in this area either. You know what I'm saying? Because I do have consistency struggles when it comes to working out based on my schedule and based on my consistency. So I'm taking that and saying, hey, I know I can do better X, Y, and Z. I don't need motivation to do that. I just know that I got to be more consistent in certain areas, right? So, but there's so much of this motivation and looking for who's the guy that can help me, or who's that one guy that's going to say something that everything's just going to click.
Fall in line. Yeah.
Just fall in line, and then I'm going to be good.
Hmm.
It's not gonna happen if you don't build your own personal. So I'm pointing out, right? We have access to all these great things, which is in excess. You end up not even getting to the most optimal state that's
Mm,
gonna benefit you, but yet you consume all these things in excess, which are in excess, and you don't even get to where you're trying to go.
exactly.
The pornography, the motivation, the do this for 30 days, the eat this and you'll lose weight when you're not ever consistent in your diet, and 30 days in the span of 12 months is not going to be enough to sustain your results. You see what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this bleeds into any area in life. It bleeds everywhere. This is reality.
Hmm.
You're not gonna have anything that's gonna give you what you need. I even lost what I was even trying to say in while I was trying to say it. 'Cause it's just crazy. Like you're not if you don't if you're not able to control your environment in the or control how you respond in your environment, then you can't expect anybody else or any other thing to help that environment if because you have to implement it yourself.
Yeah. And just real quick, hey, what's up, Yapping? What's up, Easton Crawford? What's up, Ra? How you guys doing? We're doing good, man. We're just trying to get through this stuff. But you listed so many things. Some of the stuff is gonna come up later too in the structure of what I have here. So yeah, all right, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
All
Um,
right.
but when I watched this little clip, the part here, the part that like hit me the hardest was the part where I was like, for all this knowledge that we're consuming, we're actually not doing anything with it.
Mm.
That's problematic, right? Because Eddie had said you're looking for the next motivation to hit you. Like, what about the motivation from yesterday? What happened to that? Why aren't you putting that to work? So we've confused consuming products with becoming the thing, because it kind of makes you feel like it, right? Fake it until you make it. And this little he pointed out that the illusion of learning that actually stops you from succeeding. And so
Yeah, just consuming, and like I said, it bleeds into every part of your life. You're just
mhm,
consuming, but you're not actually making the steps that
yep,
that you're learning about or whatever.
yep. It's man. All right, let's go. Let's go.
I looked into the podcast more deeply, I found not only an industrial scale distortion about how success really works and how people really do become successful, but also that the podcast itself is actually doing the exact opposite of what it promises to do. Not only is it not helping you succeed, I think it's actively stopping you from succeeding. In fact, I go further. I think stopping you from succeeding is its actual business model. Yeah,
Okay, that's a little heavy. That's a little
Ooh.
heavy.
a change.
That's a little heavy. But let's skip to this part real quick. Write it down, and we'll get to it. This is another short clip.
This is it. Yes, this is it. Oh, it didn't quite work. Maybe that's, I didn't listen to it enough actually. No, sorry, that's on me. Yeah. If I get up half an hour earlier, or maybe that other supplement, Alpha Brain sounds good. There's got to be a reason I'm not more successful. Damn it. Damn me. Step 4, repeat until burnout or bankruptcy. And
Isn't that wild? What did
Yep.
you write down, man? What did you write down?
I'll just say it just reminded me of the people on like YouTube that have these courses that
Mm,
show you how to, let's say for the most obvious scam ones, right? That tell you, oh, you want to make 6 figures, sign up for my course and I'll show you. But you sign up, then you sign up to the course and it's never showing you how to do it. It only tells you, what's stopping people, the things that people do that fail. But what, like, where is the information on how to do these things? And then when they show you the information that is actually, supposed to help you do it or whatever, it's never clear.
Yeah.
It's always it might sound simple, but it's never clear. Scamming.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you how to build a this type of YouTube channel. I'm gonna show you how to build this type of business, and then all you have to do is that, and then they get to the steps on how to do it. It's not even, it's simple, like, meaning like it's not a whole bunch of gibberish. It's like 2 words. Oh, eat meat or something like that. Pause. I don't know why. I don't know why I went there.
Everything you could have said, man.
That's crazy. All the words I could have said.
You could have said grain. You could have said fruit. You're behind daggone said, man, come on, man.
Let's say, hey, let's go eat protein. Eat protein, right? To get buff. But like it doesn't really give you the actual things. You know what I mean? It's vague, simple, but it doesn't give you it doesn't help you for real. It doesn't really they say 5 steps to success. I mean, obviously that type of video is not specific to any particular business, but I'm just saying, like, the ones that are, they never give you what they say they're gonna give you, and it's just a lie. But it reminded me of those videos because, you're always gonna run into that thing. Is like, you think you're gonna get the answer that you're looking for, but it's not gonna give you that answer.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get it.
Hey guys, as we're talking about this, if you have thoughts, I would encourage you to drop them as well in the chat, so that if we want to go back and forth on your points or your questions or your topics, we can do that too. So something that Barry does very well in this video, I'd also advise you guys to go check out the full video, is he explains the loop really well, which is you feel inspired and then nothing changes, so then you consume more. And it turns out
you
that
get a re-up. Yeah, it's like you run out of the gas. You fill up the gas tank of motivation and of excitement, but then if you don't use it properly, it's gonna be drained. Well, now you need to get more.
Yeah. How do you not get burnt out from trying and from consuming and consuming and consuming over and over and over again? Of course you're gonna get burnt out. So it's not education, it's procrastination dressed up as productivity. And that's what the truth is. When you're listening to high level experts, people that you would have never been exposed to before the internet came out, you feel like the things that they're saying, because they're bringing down the language to our level so that we can understand. And we're like, yeah, I get it. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's how quantum physics really works. And so you feel like you're a part of the conversation and you feel like you're learning so much. But think about it. Maybe a century ago, maybe a bit longer, if you wanted to be a doctor, how would you become a doctor? You would say, I want to be a doctor. And then you go to a doctor who decides to accept you as an apprentice. And then maybe for the first couple of years, you're doing the grunt work. You're sweeping, you're cleaning up, you're doing this and that. And then you begin to get into things, because those few years of cleaning, you're examining, you're watching, you're learning, right? You're at the point of the education. So over the course of 10, 15 years, you're quite literally an expert at the thing. But what happens today? At 18 years old, you have to decide if you want to be a doctor. And then for the next 10 to 15 years, you learn about becoming an expert. And then after that, you spend another 5 to 10 years actually becoming an expert. And so after all of this is done, you've quite literally spent a third of your life learning how to become a thing. Whereas in the past, you become that thing within 10 to 15 years. And so the more that I thought about this idea that he was putting in his video, the more I realized that this paralysis didn't start with podcasts. It started long before that. It's sinister, but we'll get into it. Any comments before? Any comments?
Go ahead. Let's go ahead into this one, man.
All right. So we're actually being trained to prepare, not act. Like, yeah, let me get ready to go hiking. Let me get all the. man, that water bottle is
Mm.
it looks like it'll fit better. Let me buy that real quick. All right, it came. Should I get like a little cooler to go with it? Maybe an ice chest. Great. Man, when I think about this
Yeah.
hike, it's gonna have like
Yeah.
hills and stuff. So what's the best shoe for a hike? Let me get that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
know
It's
where you're
setting
going
you
with
up.
that. I know, yeah. It just like D saying, like, you think you need all this stuff for, let's say, like, you going out to go hunting, right? You need
Mhm.
this gun, you need that bag, you need this camo, you need these type of boots, and you get all these materials, but do you actually know how to hunt?
Yeah.
You think you need all these materials, but if you don't know how to use them, like, you don't need all those.
Mm-mm.
But that's what the sources would, the resources would tell you. Hey, do this, do that,
Exactly.
do that. All the motivation you need, but do you really need all that? Do you
Mhm.
even know how to use all that? Is that necessary for
Mm.
what you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So yeah, that's very on point.
Yeah. And so this little next section, it's 2 clips that I have. It's gonna talk about the Dunning-Kruger effect, and it shows that the confident oversimplifies. Well, let me just show the clip and then I'll explain it a little bit more. It'll make sense afterward.
I'll let that sit. So they ran a series of experiments where they tested people on logical reasoning and grammar. And then they asked those people to estimate how well they'd done. And the results showed clearly that the worst performers massively overestimated their abilities, often believing that they were way above average. Meanwhile, the actually good people, the experts, slightly underestimated themselves. The reason? Incompetence doesn't just make you bad at something. It makes you too bad, too incompetent to recognize that you're bad at that thing.
All right. Let me go to this next little clip here and then we're gonna go ahead.
A school system that manufactures people for a set of skills that are not particularly valuable anymore. And we also get them in debt for those skills. When people sidestep that and say, okay, I'm not going to get into university debt, I'm just going to go off and actually figure out how the world works, there's actually loads of opportunities. Okay, so
Loads of opportunities. I
Loads.
like how the Brits, come down to certain things like that. But yeah, that's it. You can go out and get a lot of actual tangible, skills from learning from the people that's doing it. Actually,
Mhm.
I yep. That's
Yeah,
not
skills that actually the schools can't teach you because it can't educate you around hands-on things in the field.
Mhm.
And then the school educates you with things that when you get into the field, you find hard to accept because it doesn't quite match the education, right? So,
exactly.
you're kind of stuck. You're kind of damned if you will, damned if you don't, because one thing teaches you another, but then the other thing tries to teach you something different. And that little section was interesting because it showed that the confident oversimplifiers usually dominate. Like the ones who don't know too much, they usually dominate. But then the real experts are the ones who don't perform quite as well because they see all the super complex parts that
Yeah,
move
man.
with everything, right? So it's a little bit more jarring.
I don't like, speaking of complex, the people that are smart and they love talking in the PC terms and the corporate America, like you at work and you're in a meeting, they sound all like
Mhm,
sophisticated. That thing get on my nerves, man.
mhm.
Hearing why we got to talk like the movies, like the corporate America in the movies, and this the atmosphere. You if you don't use certain words, you feel like you're the dummy in the room or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
That thing get on my nerves so bad. Like, and then you find out a lot of those don't even really know how to do technical, whatever's that they're
Yeah.
so eloquently explaining.
Mhm.
Either
Yeah.
or, man. I just like, why can't we just speak regularly? Like, this thing is annoying, and because people go to lunch break and they don't talk like that.
True. Yeah.
Like,
Even those same people that will talk all high and mighty, you catch them in private and they're not even talking like that.
you might think they on drugs or something based on how they
Yeah.
talk, like, or multiple personalities or something. Because, bro, it's something that I know as well.
Mhm.
That when we see it's like, man, get this guy out of here, man.
Yeah. So the second clip, the guy actually starts talking about the school system and how they're manufacturing people for outdated skills and teaching obedience, not initiative, not for you to take action, just
Yeah.
obedience, right?
Yeah, and I meant to say, like, yeah, to the point is that people can't even, we are taught theory, we are taught, what should work, but how it's actually done when you get on the actual job site
Mhm.
is done totally different, or those skills aren't actually being used. It's just a way that may work, but it's not
Yeah.
the usual suspect. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah. And so when you ring back to that Bible verse that I read in the beginning, where it says, time and chance happen to all, your moment will come. But if you're still studying when it arrives, well, you'll miss it. Right. And once you've been trained to wait for permission, you become easy prey for anything that feels like progress, but requires nothing from you. You're actually a literal sitting duck. And so podcasts feel like growth, but they're actually avoidance. And he nails it at this point. Let's check this part out. Let me go back.
Succeeded and had been successful before are actually terrible at predicting what's going to work in the future. I wonder why that would be. Well, it's because complex systems don't have formulas. Who would have thunk it? In fact, the formula is absolutely a retrospective illusion. It's people looking back on their path and connecting dots that only make sense in hindsight.
When you think of the ultra successful people, that's actually what they do. When you ask them, how did you become a billionaire? A lot of them will say, well, I did this and I did this and I did this. Again, the confident people who oversimplify everything, they dominate because the nuance, the little things, they don't sell. They don't sell. Oh, well, I made sure that I always kept this relationship with this kind of person because keeping a relationship with an accountant matters the most. So go find it. Like, those kind of things don't sell. Let's keep watching.
What's really happening is you're listening to lucky people that can't see their own luck, who are telling confident stories that gaslight you and themselves into thinking it's mostly not about luck. And they're all giving you formulas that don't work. Anyone giving you formulas outside of actual maths is actually doing fortune telling for people who need to feed their kids. And all of this.
Why were you laughing?
He said anybody's giving formulas that's not actually math. I thought that was kind of funny.
Maths, yeah. So he's saying that we're actually listening to lucky people and who can't really see their own luck. They're giving formulas that don't actually work because they're basing their success is based off of luck, which to an extent it makes sense based off the Bible verse that I read originally. Now let's watch this next part. He goes a little bit deeper.
I would have to disagree with that. I don't think. Yeah, I don't fully agree with that.
Yeah. All right, let's watch this section and then we'll get to your what you have to say real quick.
Podcasts, they don't solve your anxiety, they monetize it. In fact, they need you to stay anxious so that you keep listening, so that you keep believing that you're one morning routine away from cracking the code.
AI safety expert. I read an AI safety expert. That's crazy. You can't know, huh?
What the heck is that even?
AI safety expert.
Safety expert, bro.
What are you trying to? Who are you protecting? AI safety. I don't I don't know what that means at all. AI safety. That sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. But what were you saying you disagreed with?
That people that are like that people who done well are just lucky.
Mm,
I think that might there might be I think that's a small fraction when it comes to the big picture. I think a lot of people I think there's more than there's actually a few things that I'm aware of when it comes to that. There are people that get in touch with the right people. There are people that get into the wrong side of morality to get to where they are, aka witchcraft, you know what I mean, demonic worship, or what have you, and that's also connected with meeting the right people, but the wrong people that are also doing those things that can help you because you're in the group or in the fraternity, you know what I'm saying? And then there's people that work hard and that make solid moves, in which you would find out they were making biblical moves without their knowledge, but they actually did things that the Bible taught. So I don't think that's luck. You know what I'm saying? But the ones that are lucky, you could say the ones who probably won the lottery, or the ones that if they had inheritance or whatever, that the uncle that didn't have no kids gave to them, stuff like that. There are those cases, but I think when it comes to success, a lot of the times, a big portion is either you follow the biblical principles and you become successful, whether you know it or not, or you involve the devil and he blesses you for a season, and then you become well known, whether you're famous, whatever the case may be. I think those are the bigger pots than the lucky. The lucky, I would definitely not say that's majority.
So the part here that actually reminded me of this biblical wisdom is when the verse talks about, let me bring this up, where the verse talks about here in, so you start at 10 up here, and it says, whatever your hands finds to do, do it with your might. So whatever it is that you're doing, put your back into the work, do the work, care for the work, make the work amazing. And I don't think that most people who start businesses or in some job, like, I don't think that the people they're putting in the work, they're actually putting in the work. The thing here that you have to take notice is, again, I saw that under the sun, the race is not to the swift, to the strong, to the wise, to the intelligent, to the knowledgeable, but time and chance. And this is what the world calls luck, right? Time and chance happen to them all. So in a Christianity frame of understanding, this isn't luck, it's time and chance. Everyone will get an opportunity at some point in their life.
Yeah.
The thing is, are you doing it with all of your might? And in the race, are you ready when the time and chance happens? And that's the interesting part to me, because it doesn't happen just to the rich or to the intelligent or to those with a lot of knowledge, like the connections that you're talking about. Because if what you're saying is true, then everyone with a connection has to be successful at some point. Everyone who did the right thing or invested in the right thing has to be successful. You know what I'm saying? Anyone who did the super hard work has to be successful. But luck does what the world calls luck. It happens, but not everyone that luck happens to is successful. And that's the part that I'm framing this whole thing around, is everyone will get an opportunity, but most people miss that opportunity because they're not actually working hard at the thing that would allow them to make the most out of the opportunity. What do you think?
This is my last point, and then we are running out of time here. Are pretty much out of time, but what came to my mind is the waiting on the Lord piece, because this, a lot of people, how we were talking, how you mentioned that, about getting the chance.
Mm,
A lot of time when people are waiting on the Lord, right? They're not preparing. They're waiting as in they think it means don't do nothing,
Mhm.
and don't actually prepare yourselves for whatever you're asking for, that you're waiting for the Lord to answer, or to give you whatever the case may be upon while you're waiting. People aren't properly getting ready, and waiting means get ready, aka prepare, and get in the position. So when it's on green, you can go. But people don't do, that's not what's happening generally when people are waiting on the Lord.
mm,
They just do nothing at all, and they expect whatever they ask for to be answered. And then when the thing comes, they're like, "Oh crap, this is what I wanted." Well, yeah, that's what you wanted, and you wouldn't have that reaction if you were prepared for it.
yeah. Yeah.
Like getting the opportunity to run a 10K. If it comes, did you train to be ready for when it comes?
Mm,
Like, just to keep it simple like that. But that's all
yeah.
I
All right.
wanted to.
So I'm gonna make this last point to close this whole thing out, and then we'll be out of here. It's two short clips. It's like 20 seconds total. One sec.
Hope.
All right.
But I love your energy about like that, like, yeah, like how do we stay hopeful, right?
The system is broken, but we've only been sold the story that we are broken. And we've been sold this story by people who have benefited by circumstance, luck, and wind at their back, who tell the story.
All right. And then this next little section right here.
Sick. Tell them the truth, okay? We, your older generation, we took the opportunities, and now it's almost impossible to get out of poverty. And don't just stand up there and wave, your millions of pounds in front of them and say, if you were entrepreneurial like me, you could do it, you could have it. Because it's sick, because they can't. They can't feed their kids, Dan. They can't turn the heating on. Don't tell.
All right. So yeah, he's going
Dang.
in on the other guy because the other guy is basically saying you just work hard and you follow systems which it does because again, time and chance happens to everyone, but most people don't understand that, right? So there are these people who go around saying be more entrepreneurial, right? This guy's saying don't tell people to be more entrepreneurial, fix the system. But here's the truth that I'm gearing toward. You don't need more experts, you don't need more podcasts, you don't need more framework, you need more action, you need more people putting their hands to the work, because honestly, Ecclesiastes ends the debate. Whatever your hand finds to do it with all of your might. Death is coming. We're all going to pass, right? Opportunity is unpredictable. One may get it at 50, another may get it at 20. And when your moment arrives, hopefully you're found doing, not studying, because studying doesn't actually get you where you want to go, right? So you have to go do. You have any final words?
Yeah, this is a longer conversation. Now that we're breaking it down, it's a lot to talk about here, because there's a lot of different ways to look at this. There's a lot of different ways. So, man, if you guys want us to hit on this more, definitely jot it in the comments, because I definitely have a lot of different examples to bring up, and how and what we see happen in life and things of that nature. So
Mm.
interesting thing that we can pull up. If you guys want to see more of that, let us know down below.
Yep. But anyway, thank you guys for joining us. Hope you enjoyed it. And remember to comment, share, and like. We appreciate it. We want to hear what you think about this, because as you can tell, this conversation is really deep. It's vast. And I don't expect this little live stream to change anyone's mind. As a matter of fact, it's simply to plant a seed for you to think about. So without further ado, this is Dialogue, folks.
It's your man Eddie Ed.
Hey, and we're out of here. May you be found doing, not studying. Peace.
Peace.